it's Diane again. I'm here with my friend Cindy. We actually met in Vegas when I was up there a couple of weeks ago, and we decided to just kind of have a chat about online dating, some of our concerns, fears, experiences. So hopefully you will find some interesting information. Hopefully we can share some things with each other that might be helpful for all of us going forward. So thank you, Cindy, for coming today. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I know we've chatted about this a little bit, certainly chatted about it up in Vegas, and that was, kind of an experience and lots of interesting people there. But, as I've shared with you, I'm just very new to the whole online dating thing, just trying to figure out, how it really works, honestly. And, certainly some of my concerns in the beginning is just, you've got your free sites, your paid sites, just the variety of people that are out there. I just think the honesty of people.
Right.
So what are some of your biggest concerns as you kind of, venture into this as well?
Well, it's absolutely like no other thing I've done. It's very intimidating, especially when I first decided to do it. I was actually scared and really didn't know who to turn to. So I started to think about it, and I had one friend who had gone online, and I thought, I'm just going to give her a call. It may sound silly to call, but I just didn't really know where to go with it. And she was great. She told me things that I never even thought about, like not to give someone phone numbers right away.
Right.
And I didn't even know what was appropriate to, and the length of time to correspond online until you felt, okay, now I can advance to the phone, et cetera, let alone to meet someone eye to eye.
Right.
And so she couldn't tell me exactly, but she gave me at least some type of an idea.
Yeah.
So it was comforting.
Yeah, that's good. What do you think was the best piece of advice that she gave you? Anything that kind of stood out?
A couple of things. One was not to give the phone number until I really felt comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually as though I needed permission to say I don't have to.
Right.
I didn't feel that pressure because I really didn't know. And then the other thing was that if I chose to meet somebody in person, that you don't just go, you have to think it through. You have to let somebody know where you're going, when you're going, so that if God forbid something were to happen, that someone would know.
Right.
And I didn't really even think about that. Another thing that she told me that was really helpful was meet in a public place.
Right. It is interesting because I think that, just historically, you met somebody, you went on a date. I'm not sure you gave it a whole lot of thought as to, some of those concerns.
Right.
And I think that online dating, has its pros and cons. Obviously, a great place to, meet people and a variety of people. But I think it's also brought out some real negative things in people. People can use it almost as a predatory site.
Yes.
And they know that somebody's going to, for the most part, be willing to give them information about themselves, to meet them somewhere.
Right.
And so I think when we think back to our generation, it's like so much has changed. And I think that I kind of have the same original approach that you did. It's like, you get online, you find somebody you might be interested in talking to, you go meet them, or
Right.
And I think I would have been very forthcoming with information that probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah.
So I think that having friends that have gone through, unfortunately, maybe some not good experiences,
Right.
they're able to give us some great advice on how to maybe not go down that same path. And I think that's really the whole purpose of trying to do this blog, really, is to try and get some information out there for people like us that have never done it before, that are just, new at this, to try and avoid some of those pitfalls. So I know I have several friends that have had experiences, and it's kind of interesting how the themes tend to be the same. It's, just the kind of dishonesty that's out there, whether it's, marital status, age, background, any of those types of things. So I think it's, what do you think is what you're looking forward to? Is there something that you're looking forward to with the whole experience?
Well, I guess I can't speak for everybody, but I would think that the majority of people going into it hope that what they're going to come out with is a partner or some important relationships that will help to build wherever it is we're going. So that's ultimately what I would like. It's just such a different approach, as you were saying, and I was saying earlier. There's just nothing that I can really compare it to.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, we, like I said, come from a time when you just met people face to face. You met them through somebody you knew, and so I think it's a great opportunity to meet a lot more people.
Right.
But like I said, I think there's a lot of concerns and issues that come along with that as well. And I just know, from the time I started thinking about it, I've had a lot of, anxiety or apprehension about it, just kind of thinking, I don't want to kind of mess it up.
Right.
And I think sometimes too, just you go back to kind of the old things, or what's really the odds of, as I'm meeting these different people, that I'm really going to meet that person that I can have more of a long-term relationship with. I think the odds are better when you're doing the online, just because of the volume.
Right.
But I still think that there's a lot of time and effort that goes into it.
Yes.
And that's one of the things that's been interesting to me, is just with the variety of sites that are out there. Like I said, free, paid. It's almost like a part-time job.
Right. I agree with you. And even before I decided to do it, I think part of there were a couple of reasons that I didn't jump into it right away. One, of course, being safety issues. But the other thing is that I was told by friends that it was just like a full-time job. You kind of came home from work, got onto the computer, and it was another job, because then you had to go through everything. And so yeah, that definitely is an issue. And it took me quite a while to make that jump, to decide to do it, to sign up for the site. And then when I was contacted the first time, I remember feeling like, okay, now what do I do?
Sure.
Now it's happened. I put myself in this situation, and it's happening. It's taking shape, and I have no clue what to do.
Right. So now, at this point, you've actually met, had coffee with a couple of people.
I have, and it's been interesting. I haven't had a lot of experience.
Right.
But I have not met the person, but I have met some interesting people, and I'm happy I'm doing what I'm doing.
I think one of my concerns has been, I remember back when I was much younger and dating, that one of my challenges was, if I wasn't really interested in the person, how to sort of let them down gently without, being harsh or hurting their feelings. And I was never good at that. And so I would kind of go through this painful period where I already knew I wasn't interested, yet I was still sort of investing time. They were investing time. And so I'm kind of wondering how that's going to work. I'm hoping that the whole online dating has that's evolved a little bit, to where people kind of have that expectation that if it's not a connection, if it's not working, that you can just sort of say it without wasting a lot of time going through the process. So when you met the couple of people for coffee, and you, I'm assuming, determined that there wasn't really a connection, how did that go in trying to let them down? Because that's one of the things that I'm just thinking, I don't know how I'm going to handle that.
I am very much as what you just described. I don't do things easily in that regard. I have not advanced, I guess, to that, or maybe it's just personality. Even though it was online and you're not face-to-face, I still felt that it was not an easy thing for me. I don't know, maybe eventually I will, it'll get easier. I've only done it a couple of times, and I actually agonized over what I was going to say. One person, I felt it was okay to do an email, which is a very big thing. I don't like that.
Right.
I'm very much a person to person. But I sort of did say it to them, and then just sort of finished it with that.
Followed up with an email that is confirmed.
And I put in a lot of hours trying to decide the right words.
Right.
Not easy. And then the other person, we just followed up with phone calls, and I just didn't accept, very nicely didn't accept future invitations for dates.
And then finally he just stopped asking.
Finally.
So, I do think that's an area that, like I said, hopefully I'll get better at of, if I feel like there's not a connection, just being able to say it,
Right.
because even that whole kind of avoidance thing, like, oh, I'll just politely turn down your invitations. I would think that, in this type of environment, I mean, the way that we kind of came together, it shouldn't be that difficult
I agree.
to say it. So I'm, I still have some, apprehension about that, but
Yeah.
hopefully that won't be as difficult as I'm thinking it's going to be.
Right.
But
right.
yeah, I'm hoping that we can, meet some interesting people, and I think that's the whole thing. I realize everybody's not going to be, a love connection, but I think that just meeting some interesting people,
Yep.
because for me, I mean, I'd be okay even just meeting some people that I can spend time with, or go to a movie with, and I think also it's kind of nice to just kind of broaden that network of people, because you never really know
Don't.
where that next person's going to come from. It may
Right.
just be through someone that you meet.
Exactly. You don't know who knows who.
Right.
So
Right.
that's always a possibility, and I think that the value of online dating is, like you were saying before, the volume. You
Hmm.
get the exposure to a lot of people that you would not necessarily cross paths. And then you even open it up that much more when you say you don't know who they know.
Right. Right.
So I agree.
Yeah, and I think, of course, one of the advantages as well is getting to kind of put some of that initial information out there. These are my likes, dislikes, or, I'm not interested in somebody who smokes. Well, that,
Yes.
that sort of cuts it right there.
Yes.
And drinking and all of that. So, it does at least take, once again, a very large pool and bring it down to, something that's somewhat manageable. So,
Right.
yeah, so are you looking forward to your next online experience?
Absolutely. It will be interesting. I sort of take one day at a time.
Yeah.
And you?
Well, I'm just, as I said, very new. Haven't had my first online experience yet, so I'm on a couple of sites now. So I would guess in the next couple of weeks I'll probably, see about at least starting to communicate with some people and just kind of see how that works. And so yeah, I'm excited. I think it's going to be an adventure. I think it's going to be a new phase of my life, and hopefully it'll be an exciting one, a pleasant one,
Absolutely.
something to look forward to.
And the nice thing is that if you know other people, you can talk to them and get their opinions and kind of moral support.
Yes.
And then you're not shocked when you do have some experiences that you may have, because you've heard stories.
Yes.
Good and bad.
So I'm excited to hear how things go for you, and we'll have to just get together again in the near future and share what's been going on.
I look forward to hearing your stories as well.
All right. So thank you again so much for coming, and thank you everyone for listening in, and hopefully we can all figure this out together. So have a great day.